Good morning, everybody. I wanted to come on and make a quick video. This is seriously has to be a quick video. I'm on my break from lunch, and after my bus run this morning, I had to go do a drug test. So just thought you guys would like to know that bus drivers do have to take drug tests. So just so you know. But I wanted to do an update about this fabulousness and explain what's going on. And it got me thinking about vintage style kitchens and how different kitchens have changed with, with some things that just, they're better now. We have better technology. But there are a lot of little things that have never really gotten better. And I kind of miss that were really nice about kitchens back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even well into the 80s. Generally speaking, they were less casual. So that's part of it. But let's talk about a couple of them because I just want to talk about a couple of them. But let's start with the bread box. So the bread box, we had a little issue. Let me see if I can not damage this any further. So here's the beautiful decal that I bought off Etsy, and some of you can probably see the cracks in it. See, and I mean, can we see how nice that would have looked on the bread box? Look at that, right? So I followed the original directions. By the way, this is from like 1950. I followed the original directions. It immediately started to crack. So what I'm going to have to do now is get some type of decal paper, make a copy of it on my color printer, transfer it to decal paper, cut it out, and put it on the bread box. So that's where we're at with the bread box. Also this week, I found something that I've been looking for in the thrift stores for just like forever, and that is an electric percolator that is not entirely aluminum. I wanted the stainless steel kind of shiny kind, and I finally found one. I'm very happy. And this is what started to get me thinking about vintage kitchens. Hi, Pup. How are you doing? Vintage kitchens, like if you're fortunate enough to have a grandmother, hi baby, you're gonna say hi, we're making a video. Yeah, you always wait until I'm making a video because then you suddenly need attention. Grandmother, great grandmother, some of you maybe mother. There were certain elements that were always in kind of their kitchens for years. One of them being things like bread boxes. Also, that percolator, that chrome toaster, right? These were all things that were really essential for a vintage style kitchen if you're thinking about doing a vintage style kitchen. But I want to talk about the percolator specifically because back in the day, I love saying that because I'm one of those annoying Gen Xers. Back in the day, in order to get your Gen X card, you had to pass a test. Actually, it was you had to be able to identify different types of coffee. You had to be able to identify different types of craft beer. You needed to know. You needed to somewhat be a barista. That was very important that you understand the different terms for coffee. You needed to be able to have you needed to cite some college radio stations where you heard REM for the first time before they were big. And the bonus essay question was always whether the Sub Pop artist on Sub Pop had sold out. So that was, and then if you could pass the test, you got a little card that said you were a member of Gen X. But I'm just kidding. Anyway, percolated coffee is delicious. I'm not really sure why they went out of style. My thought is that they went out of style when products like Mr. Coffee came in, which is the drip coffee, which drip coffee, like, coffee maker coffee is very good too. But percolated coffee, whether it's stovetop or electric, is absolutely fantastic because the water moves through and keeps circulating and gets stronger and stronger through the grounds. And if you unplug it once it stops percolating, it doesn't burn. Unfortunately, those Mr. Coffees, the pot's then sitting on the heating element and it just burns so when you get to the final little bits of coffee, it's not good. And of course, pour over is great, but who has time for pour over? And the percolator really is pretty fast. It's as fast as a coffee maker. Obviously, it's not as fast as a Keurig. I have a Keurig and it's fine. I use the Keurig in the morning because I don't usually have time to wait for the percolator. But on weekends, I started using this percolator and I love it. It's fabulous. But I want to talk about some other things that have changed dramatically. And one of them we're going to talk about right now because I happen to have it here. So this is my absolute, let me turn around so you can, this is my absolutely fabulous complete set of china from 1950 that I got for $75. And I'm going to show all the pieces to you, and then we're going to talk about them a little bit. So bread plate, berry plate, cup and saucer, soup bowl. You could also use this for salad, and dinner plate. Now, if you're looking at these and you're thinking they seem small, it's because they are. I can honestly say, I think one of the reasons we're all getting so big is our portion sizes have gotten bigger because plates have also gotten bigger. My modern plates, the sandwich plate is the same size as this dinner plate on the modern set I have, which I got at Walmart like 2 years ago when I moved into this apartment before I bought this. And it was, you know, it was, I don't know, a couple bucks. It's okay. It's actually the set that these mugs come from. The reason I bought it is because these mugs were so classic looking, but no plate, right? In fact, I'm not sure why I didn't make my tea and put it in this, because this is really, I love drinking out of these. I feel like such a lady when I drink out of these. But that was part of why I think we are getting so big, is we get this plate and we feel the need to finish all the food. We feel guilty if we don't finish all of our food. And because we have a bigger plate, we're eating bigger portions. People ate much smaller portions back in the day, and their food was very varied. Maybe in the future I'll really take some time and talk about vintage eating, vintage cooking over what we do now. But I can tell you right now, after World War II, after the Depression, there was a concerted effort in the United States to talk about food nutrition. And in that, that's when you really started to see these very complete meals where it would be a salad, you had your starch, you had your protein, and you had 1 or 2 vegetable side dishes, depending on whether you had tomato juice with your dinner or, you know, whatever. And the addition of milk at every meal for children was like pretty new thing. Yeah, look, I'm wearing this. Isn't it gorgeous? So I love this thing. Anyway, these were some like really big issues at the time because people had been really unhealthy during the Depression. People didn't have money to eat. And during World War I, when they did food rationing, there was actually an issue of starvation, which is why they were so dedicated during World War II to really, they were so organized about the food rationing in the U.S. because of the problems they had with World War I. So they organized it during World War II. So that's one of the things about food. Now, another thing, now we're getting into pet peeve territory. Being a chef, I have very good pots and pans, including very expensive Le Creuset. But I'm not here to talk to you about my very expensive Le Creuset. I'm here to talk to you about stuff that I recently found in the thrift store for like $3.99. And they are this one. This is the best pan you'll ever buy. You'll probably use it for everything. This is a Farberware 2-quart pan. This is Farberware. The bottom is unfinished stainless steel. See this kind of like fading out on the handle? It means someone put it through the dishwasher too many times. And this is, it's not like Bakelite, but this is like an earlier plastic. And I'm thinking this thing's probably from the 80s maybe. It's not real old, but I got this for $2.99. And then, oh, yesterday I got another one of these and it had the lid and that was $3.99. Please stop using Teflon. I hate Teflon. And if you like vintagey stuff, avoid the aluminum stuff because you don't want to cook with aluminum for so many reasons, not the least of which being it's going to stain your food, and they get stained really easily when you cook things like cabbage. When you cook cabbage, your cabbage turns gray. If you cook anything that has beets in it, your pots will be pink for the rest of their life. So just there, but just please don't use aluminum, and please, for God's sake, stop using Teflon. And these things that say like ceramic coated, they're not ceramic coated. And these things that are like the green Teflon, no, please, just all you need is this pan, this kind of a pan. This is a 12-20 gauge steel pan. Use a moderate heat to a low heat and use a significant amount of fat, oil. butter, whatever you're using. In fact, I highly recommend extra virgin olive oil for all of my cooking. This piece, see the copper bottom? This is Revere ware. So unfinished stainless steel, Arbor ware. Copper bottom, Revere ware, as in Paul Revere. Also, the handles are very similar. The difference is this is smooth all along, this handle. This one has a ridge. Sorry, let me put this down. This one has a ridge across the top. And then I didn't bring any lids out with me, but the lids can be different. Farberware's lid has what's called the pinch. So it's a black lid, and if you put your fingers around it, it's like you're pinching it. The Revere ware has a round, like, knob that graduates upwards, and if you look across the top, it usually has a ring in it. So please pick these up. This was $3.99. This was $2.99 at the thrift store. Just buy these pieces. Please stop buying Teflon, and please don't buy aluminum to cook with if you're doing if you want to do a vintage style kitchen. So that's kind of my piece on that. And I already talked about the bread box, but I'll throw it in there. There's a reason people have bread boxes. You don't want to put your bread in the fridge. The fridge dries out your bread. That's why bread boxes were around. And I actually saw one the other day at Walmart from the Pioneer woman. I was a Pioneer lady. Pioneer woman. It was very vintagey looking. It was turquoise and floral, and it was a little too for me. But it was a bread box. So apparently she's bringing them back. And they're a great thing to have, guys. Bread boxes are awesome. But yeah, so vintage kitchen. If you want to set up a vintage style kitchen, get yourself a chrome toaster, get yourself a chrome electric percolator or a stovetop electric percolator. Get yourself some beautiful vintage dishes. I find them all the time in the thrift stores, and they're going to be a lot of pieces, guys. It's not going to be like the kind of stuff we have now where it's one bowl and a mug and, 2 plates. It's going to be like this, a set like this. Get yourself a bread box. Get yourself some good quality pots and pans like the Revere ware or the Farberware, which are now showing up in thrift stores, which kills me because this stuff new is kind of expensive and it's not as well made. It's not as heavy. Pots and pans, when you pick it up, you should feel like you could be able to really clock somebody with that pot or pan. They should be heavy in your hand. Keep that in mind. And the only other thing that I would add in there, just for like little extra stuff, is look for some cute vintage salt and pepper shakers, like figurine style salt and pepper shakers. What they call flour cloth dish towels. They didn't really use terry dish towels back in the day. They used linen, which were the more expensive ones, and then they used flour sack. And they were usually embroidered. My grandmother had a set that had the days of the week, and it was like, Sunday, wash day, Monday, iron day, and it was really cute. Cookie jars, another amazing vintage style thing that you don't see anymore. And of course, cute ass aprons, man. You need to have those cute aprons. They're like a really important part of vintage style kitchens. So those are my thoughts on vintage styling for kitchens. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.